What better way to smoke illicit substances than in the presence of a children's game led by the Imperial Japanese's gaming wing as we play the new Pokémon Scarlet, but this time on crack. Let's give a TCLR twist despite the fact it will probably lead to Nintendo coming in like, you got a license for that there Nintendo game, mate? And we'll be struck down within seconds of uploading by the KGB. In any case, let's go smoke some crack with our brother and crack off Mommy Unga Bunga's ass and play Pokémon Scarlet on crack. If you do enjoy the video, leave a like and subscribe and let me know down below exactly what Pokemon would be used for if they were a real-life thing. History would go a lot differently with much more disconnection rates. People like Kanye would cause a lot more casualties in war. He made graduation, he made graduation, he made graduation. Not only that, he strapped up Chris Paul to his chest on his way out. These three really entered Kim K one by one like they were Royal Rumble entrants. Game starts off and we have to pick our character. White boy 1, white boy 2, blackface white boy, my Spanish mom fucked an Arab white boy, and then the female variants. I give myself the haircut of champions with my character looking drippy and wetter than Pokemon fans after seeing bare minimum and graphics for the 20th year in a row. We get to the college orientation video with all the representation you would expect. Wait, is that Tauros? I'm up a Chartman, man. I'm not ballsy enough to make that joke. I see one of our classes involves learning how to break the space-time continuum. Excellent. I'm already sold. We get to me studying up on my Kama Sutra positions. Have to be prepared after all. This game is based on Spain. I'm expecting to get drama slapped at least once before some hot steamy sex, cheating, and then repeating the circle of Spanish life. I'm trying to watch TV, but it's the same commercial being rerun 50 different times, and so I head downstairs. Holy shit, this squirrel is double cheeked up on both ends. Better be careful, else I'll hit a play rough of my own. Ay caramba! Why the hell is my mom the baddest bitch this side of the tomato festival? She also has excellent naming techniques, just saying. But just as I'm about to play the field spell Alabama, we get a knock on the door and some old geezer just walks in without anyone opening the door for him. Must have multiple sclerosis if he's that willing to die. It's a good thing this isn't set in America, else he'd be pumped 50 shells full of lead already. Okay, giving him some refreshments after a long journey, that's... What do you mean thanks to this? There's nothing to discuss. Oh, he's about to Professor Oak my mother right in front of me. I turn my cock block levels to maximum overdrive as he tries sending me to my room, asserting his role as my stepfather, but I know that's only a Oh my god, they're gonna use the squirrel. This is too kinky for me. I gotta get out of here. Where the hell did my drip go? I have a bully catching sombrero on. The toilet locker combo's about to go Shaq and Kobe on my ass. I walk in with the Flint, Michigan drip, having me looking like I'm about to storm the Alamo and I can't figure out how to take it off. To prevent me from smelling the fluids he spilled on the couch from using wood hammer, the director gets me outside and we meet the three starters. The first one already has 2,000 Rule 64 posts before the game even launched. The second one has a perfect score on the autism spectrum. And then we have Elvis. I don't need to take my time, I already... Okay, well I guess it's time to unload your Pokeballs on the neighbor's mother too. Fuck you, director. Alright, fastest one gets to be my starter. And Elvis wins. The neighbor's daughter is staring at the 30 seconds or less sword stance the Wizard of Oz is given out and we get to bonding over our shared trauma. Finally, I have to make my difficult it's Elvis. Look at him, even showing his responsibility skills to the less chromosomally gifted of us. Nimona tries to be our friend, but I tell her to piss off. I'm not going down like EDP. I've done all the necessary research I have to do for this video to get my simping skills to acceptable levels. I pick Quaxley and give him the nickname Elvis. Miss Greedy, student president, tries to get her own starter even though she's already a champion. The director of course sees this as a perfect opportunity to unload the crack rog. I challenge Nimona to a 1v1 so great it breaks the laws of space and physics. After spitting at the croc a few times and getting blown for common sense, I take the easy win, which pisses her off as she wants a rematch, getting ready to send Garchomp or something on me, but the director thinks I've suffered enough and comes in to mediate between his stepchildren. Not our stepfather, but the father who stepped up. My mom comes to take me to boarding school, but seeing as how the student president is here, she puts me in her care. She goes to get another gunk shot from the director. Nimona teaches me how to catch a Pokemon, but I'm still seeing red, so I make some bacon instead. After giving me her balls to fondle, we hear a screech only to see some Houndowers cornering a talking bicycle. Second scream has me taking a tumble and I approach the box legendary and give him my sandwich mom handed me, because God knows if the mayonnaise is actually an Uncle Clavel protein variant. Optimus Prime transforms into his battle stance and we go hunting for Decepticons. Running through the Ops' block has some unforeseen consequences and they are packing some firepower our drive-by can't hope to match. The Houndoom doesn't even have to use a move to knock out my Pokemon. He just sat there staring staring menacingly and knocked out my duck, but it's a good thing Optimus Primo has hops. He's playing in the wrong Spanish league with that athleticism. Nimona gives me her number so she can track me wherever I go. We find the Pokemon's trainer and he wants to beat my booty despite my protest, which proves an easy feat before taking the Pokemon as a spoil of war. We overlook Naranji Academy with absolutely gorgeous graphical design, and as I'm making my way, I bully a little kid for his lunch money, and holy shit, look at the fisting potential on this little guy, naming my first team member Anchor Arms. Apparently they changed the Pokemon Center to a gas station. Not surprised considering the potential return on investment they can get with current gas prices. I catch a few other Pokemon, but I'll only narrate the ones that mattered, like this little guy who I nicknamed Actually. There's also a member of the Mafia who gives me TMs every gas station after I collect enough extortion money, with this one being Thunderwave. Dora the Explorer wants another Pokemon battle and sends in Boots before putting a light bulb on him for some extra power, which worked. After he proves himself the superior fister and traumatizes half my team, I'm able to take the W in this episode of Michael Vick's World Tour. We get to the city our academy is located in, and as the FPS— whoa, slow down. We didn't want to push past 20 frames per second now, would we? After slideshowing our way through, we get to the evil team harassing Pokemon's first transgender character. I decide not to involve myself, but Harry Potter cast a spell, causing my eye to melt, forcing me to help the average Vaporeon Rule 34 fan. The Team Star kids try to threaten me, not knowing I keep that thing on me at all times, but I realize this isn't America and can't recreate Columbine, so I just send in Elvis to deal with the bullies. Nimona comes in after giving me a Terra Orb and forces the second guy to fight me. It's like your dad forcing you to smoke the entire carton of cigarettes after he catches you with one, just so I can show off the ice I got for Elvis. He's well prepared to play Jester at the King's Court now. I get to the academy, and my first class is all about how to create slideshows with Dr. Brown. I'm able to skip the lecture after telling him Morty took the time machine again, giving me a window to sneak upstairs and find Nimona conversing with the first sentient porcupine. If I ever get stranded on an island with her, at the very least we'd be eating good for months, what with the whole ecosystem she's built on top of her head. That whole hairdo's got a whole 8 gym leaders and an Elite Four in and of itself. I'm given the 8 gym leader locations, which says it's open world, but I really wouldn't recommend going up against a level 50 ice gym leader as your first challenge. I get to the cafeteria where Mr. What's Peripheral Vision gets me to join his mission on trying to find 5 special herbs. Makes sense considering we're in Spain. I'd expect nothing less than a Christopher Columbus questline complete with killing natives for their spices as a central point to the story. Cassiopeia from League of Legends gives me another quest to wipe out Team Star single-handedly, which the director overhears. I tell him he heard wrong, but I get sent to his office for back-talking him, but I ain't no snitch, so he can't get me to spill the empanadas. We get a video call midway from Ay caramba, the pleasure's all mine. After getting my Mega Horn to harden to the maximum defensive stat despite her 10,000 BC drip, she tells me she's in the middle of Area Zero and wants me to restore Koraidon to his peak physical performance, which sounds like too much work, but she sweetens a deal and says she'll Unga my Boonga as a reward. And now this is my top priority. By the time I'm finished with him, Koraidon's gonna be a prime TCLR subscribe— oh fuck, my bad, skits later in the video. Eventually the game skips a few weeks and it's time for the annual student only do whatever the hell you want field trip to start, kinda sounding like a lawsuit waiting to happen, but I get the opportunity to restore Koraidon, so I'll overlook the call to CPS just this once. After getting a quick recap about the 3 missions I need to complete, I'm off. I still don't know how to take off my hat, so to counter any potential bullies, I buy myself some Air Force Ones. Speaking of which, that's the name of my 3rd team member, Eventual Corviknight. I also capture Minecraft Iron Golem just in case I find villagers that need protecting. 5th up is bringing back PTSD of I am Melania, Blade of... so I quickly capture Elden Lord just in case Melania wants some smoke again. I also had no idea what the correct order was to battle each leader, so I was in the Lion's Den as the random trainer dropped a level 17 Pokemon on my head, which took all my 22 chromosomes to surpass. This leads to a literal crackhead showing up. Look at those eyes, nothing but the finest bricks from the Caribbean can leave you looking like that, finding the perfect mascot for this run. After using him to stop illegal graffiti going on, my Elvis evolves. I'm so excited. I haven't seen the evolutions yet. Who could he turn?
What the fuck did they do? Who the fuck is this? Who the fuck is Tingus Pingus?
I got a KFC Family Bucket Special as my starter, but so did Blaziken, so I still have hope for the future. I find the first Spice native, and after paralyzing him with Anchor Arms, Maxwell takes him to the red before the giant crowd runs away. Crack in Claw refusing the ridicule, sure to follow from getting bested by someone named Maxwell. He begins ingesting some spices, bringing in Christopher Columbus to help me tag team the native. We grab the herb the crackhead was hiding, and from the sounds Arvin made, I'm fairly certain a key ingredient in this sandwich involved me giving him a hand job. Koraidon Irvin comes in to steal my sandwich, unfortunately, but that increased his power, so it was worth getting kicked out for wasting good semen as I'm one step closer to Oonga Boonga. I get to the first gym where Dora conveniently ended up in, and I get 3 super potions before the gym test. I have to do one for every gym in a unique mini-game, this one being hide and seek. After amassing an army of Sunflora, I'm able to blackmail the gym leader to come out, who somehow avoids breaking his leg jumping off a giant windmill, surpassing the Burj Khalifa in height. But I guess that's the power of a vegan diet and monsters in place of sleep. We raise the stakes a little. If I win, he releases the kids from his white van. If he wins, I find him some more heroin. He sends out some sentient spinach as his first Pokemon, but nothing my Air Force Ones can't handle. I use Timmy Turner to bite a big enough piece off the olive, sending her in a cardiac arrest, before he finally sends out Sudowoodo, showing me the technique Xbox gamers used on my mother with his wood hammer, wiping out 4 of my Pokemon before the poison finally gets him. After losing his mind and half the nation's children, that vegan teacher gives me a TM and postcard to send to the authorities for my $15 million reward. My Air Force Ones evolve into Corvisquire and... oh, hell no, you ain't a student! The only thing you need to be studying is the age of consent law. And he has a curly... yeah, this man, right over here, officer. It's time for the first Team Star battle, and some dude named Clive, oh, I wonder who that could be, follows me for some moral support. The Team Star thing is pretty easy. Send out your first 3 Pokemon and just follow the Michael Vick playbook from there. After beating 30 Pokemon, the leader comes out who looks like she hasn't spoken to her father in years. Now, it was at this point I realized I needed a guide, else I was going to get thrashed in this playthrough, because what the hell is this level difference? Fortunately, her first Pokemon is a Torkoal, so I still have the decisive advantage, and my Elden Lord has Flash Fire, so joke's on you, he's into that shit. Eventually, Crackhead comes in to finish off the smoking tortoise, and her next Pokemon are her wheels. It took all 6 of my team members, but I was finally able to take down the flaming drive-in theater. After beating her, I get the Doofenshmirtz backstory with the Mexican filter. When I was a young boy, my father never took me to drive-in theaters, so I rebelled with my friends, dropped out of school so I can make the drive-in theater-inator. In 5 minutes, the whole tri-state area will be brainwashed into taking their children to drive-in theater. I'm terrible with accents. Holy fuck, unsubscribe right now. After goose-stepping like she was about to surround and capture Napoleon VI, she praises my Palmo to jack all the entire fight, but she crushes my hands as punishment for backtalking. Cassiopeia sends her quote-unquote rep to give me my reward. Wonder who Cassiopeia could be. After getting a guide on the gym order, I realized how badly I fumbled, especially when I was fighting level 8 Pokemon with level 20 giants. To avoid any potential cases for assault and battery, I catch my own level 5 Pokemon, Pitted is better. Okay, no way in hell is this guy a student. The only thing he should be learning is how to write a will. Maybe Pokemon ain't for you when 60 years of training led to a level 9 Spoopa as a result. Dora tracks me to the first gym, confirming my stalking suspicions, but no time for that as I have to complete a Fall Guys level for my next gym test, and I get to battle Katie, the gym leader, for my second should-be-first gym badge. She's a baker, unfamiliar with condiments, but I show her exactly what A-Salt is, with all my boys being 7 levels higher than hers and mow through her team until she gets to her ace. It's a Care Bear. You're a Care Bear, so you're betting your final chance? Ain't no way. Even with that tiara, I still one-shot the teddy bear with Crackhead. She gives me a cupcake, and as I'm healing my wounded Pokemon, a man in a trench coat asks me to follow him to his van, to which I politely decline, though admire his strategic thinking, since if he got caught by Officer Jenny, he's got a viable cupcake excuse on standby. He asks me why I'm becoming a champion, and I say ad revenue, which satisfies him and leaves me to get the second native homicide badge. Also, my anchor arms evolved, and to get him to stage 3, I just have to love bomb him into thinking we're besties, and so I take him out for a walk. I enter a pinball machine or something and try to dodge all the rocks coming at me like Tetris bricks, and after getting schlumped a few times, I make it through with my Hot Wheels and use my Crackhead to battle King Kong Stork, unfortunately delaying his order for a baby Kong, and after proving this thing is vincible, Arvin comes in like, oh yeah, I would've come here first, but they were doing mommy issues eat free at the local Swiss chalet. Anyway, with all the crack injected directly into his shell, we thrash the Flying Titan, giving us another herb, Arvin another hand job, and us another sandwich. After stealing my sandwich, the box legendary tries to snag another, but Arvin comes clean and says he doesn't have an imaginary girlfriend, and instead whips out the Mabo Stiffy, leaving Kraden shocked he hasn't went to the farm yet to be happy. After witnessing the impeccable eating graphics that Game Freak really reached into the deepest crevices of their bag for, the crippled doggo opens his eyes, bringing tears to everyone's eyes, stopping the kerfuffle in Ukraine, ending world hunger, and increasing the attack power on my secret sword when mommy calls me on another another upgrade for Kraden, who's apparently a boat now. The next Team Star boss should have been the first, so you'll know it went about as well as Ted Bundy at a girl's sleepover, and we get his Doofenshmirtz backstory. When I was a little kid, my daddy beat me every day with the metal part of the belt, so I have created the Rules-inator that will prevent the entire tri-state area from breaking rules ever again. Now they will anguish at the fact no more war crimes or jaywalking can be committed. My god, he's gone too far. After I take a picture of him and the Elephant Man, he gives me the foul play TM, which will come in handy when I bone Arvin's mom. The definitely not Cassiopeia skin comes in to give me my league points and materials, as Kraden shows us. He likes femboys just as much as the next guy. I find new Pokemon like Wattrel that looks cool and all, with Volt Absorb even, that I was gonna catch, until my crackhead went and got a crit on the only Volt Absorb Wattrel in the area. And then we have a Vacuum Cleaner Pokemon. He'll be useful in case the next gym leader's packing Lintazard or Dustoise. After grinding through the 7 FPS city to get to the next gym challenge started, I'm shocked that Nimona isn't there. Oh, never mind, she was stalking me from behind this time. At least it's good to know her skills are slowly improving. She asks for a battle and I say sure. Let's see if the Fire Croc turned out better than my Unibrow family KFC bucket. Her first Pokemon is Rockroof, which handles my Anchor Arms. It was evolved, by the way, until I sent in the Crackhead. She brings in her own Anchor Arms, and while he's able to roll past my Elden Lord's first attack, it's Elden Ring. One miss and you lose all your experience and health. So you might be asking, how did her frog end up turning out? Anyways, Lavencia's gym, the leader's a Twitch streamer, scum of the earth, making me see nothing but red before breaking down at the thought of the challenge. I have to stream with her too. Alright, well, she's doing the streaming thing wrong. That's about 2 layers too many of clothes. Alright, she says hello twice, but it seems like she's making up for the lack of booba by reaching out to multiple languages, which is pure genius. I'm gonna start speaking some French now. Le but de ce défi est de trouver le réalisateur que la ville qu'il m'a également suivi 3 fois in a game of Roswaldo. I'm not that proficient at French. I find him the first time, but unknown to me, in between every game I have to deal with her tier 3 subs, which will require my complete attention. They're tier 3 subs. I just tell them Yono has a boyfriend, leaving them too devastated to battle.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really.
She has her viewers watching the game from the stands, and this is what the average Twitch chat does look like, so I'll give Game Freak that for the realism. While getting interview... Man, come on. His name's Electro King too. You know he's got a room full of Yono body pillows. Gym battle was easy. Minecraft Iron Golem takes out her Wattrel before she sends out a guitar loudspeaker, and Anchor Arm slow sweeps the instrument enhancer. Her last Pokemon is Miss Magius, who's terrestrialized to an electric type, and she wipes out the Squidward defender. I send in Crackhead and she tries confusing him. Unbeknownst to her, however, is the fact that Crackhead is always confused and hits her with 2 rock slides anyways. Minecraft Steve evolves into... Okay, this has to be copyright infringement. He gives me the TM Volt Switch at your service, my lady. After finding out Moldy Hair is the champion, my Olive evolves, getting me put on the sex offender registry before taking out a fellow member on that registry and getting to the city where this old geezer's willing to give me auspicious armor for 10 Bronzor fragments. So I go Bronzor poaching, dwindle the populace, and get the armor which evolves my Elden Lord into the Chaos King.
What's up, everybody? It's Critical.
Found the Indian variant to the Moist Multiverse. Next Titan is a Steel Earthworm, but the Chaos King takes care of it, and Arvin's Mabo Stiffy almost stands up in the most tear wetting scene since Rose hogged the entire door to herself in Titanic. As I'm making my way to the next gym, Peter Griffin runs out. And I'm told he is surprisingly the gym leader. The flight attendant asks me to deliver him his wallet he's dropped, and that'll be my next gym challenge, and so I do just that. On the way evolving my actually, but just as I'm about to give his wallet back, this Team Rocket grunt comes up like, yeah, you wanna see the boss? You gotta go through me. And so I do go through him. After giving him his wallet, Peter tells me he's never went shopping without Lewis before and asks me to bid for his special seaweed in his stead. I bet the highest bid until I win, getting congratulations from the crowd as if this took any skill at all. With the gym challenge done, Trenchcoat Steve introduces me to his friend, Lady Rika. Love how they had to include she's a lady in the dialogue, who looks like she's about to expose Save the Kids token again. I came into the battle confident I could beat the mind of a child, but he comes out guns blazing, nipples lactating with a shark Zuka. After paralyzing him, he eats my booty with a crit, forcing me to Volt Switch into my grass type. He knows Pluck, well, it's a good thing I have Mega Drain at least, and kill him, before I send in Mort from Penguins of Madagascar and tell him if he wins this game, he'll get to touch my feet. I didn't even have to give him orders after that. He's a lemur on a mission. He gives my 3 used Pokemon the Crab Hammer, bringing back the memories of the director giving my mom the sticky web before I break through the PTSD with Elvis. I get a TM I won't use and was surprised Mona had the restraint to show up after the battle this time. Next, Team Starbase has a tiny minority getting bullied, so I come in with the belt in hand, getting ready to cause mayhem. I fight the poison member who's got a way over-leveled team. Because of that, him and his skun tank proceeded to bend my team over and, oh god, I can't even show this on YouTube. What happened was a damn crime, alright. The saltiness of my voice doesn't match the salt he handed me, and I needed an anime training arc. After a quick Rocky training montage, I'm ready for my rematch. I attach some morphine to Anchor Arm so he can't feel the poison pain, and 2 digs finishes off his skun tank. The Chaos Lord takes out his lint collector. Anchor Arms comes in though to clean house before I send in Crackhead against his party bus. I lower his speed with some rock throws before going down and finishing Koga from the Kanto region off with the Chaos Lord. You know, backstory's getting a little stale. I tell him about how I want to Unga Mrs. Boonga, and he takes pity on me, giving me a super powerful gunk shot TM to use in the decisive battle. Now, I know I shit-talked Maxwell, cause no quackin' way you even deserve to have the word quacks with your bullshit evolution, but I have high hopes. Maybe we can get a Blaziken level recover.
Look how they massacred my boy.
I get Aqua Step at least, which gives me a speed boost every attack. After I surprisingly find Nimona waiting for me in the next gym, I wonder what buffoonery they can give for the next gym. Now I have to order a meal. Well, don't get too creative on us, Game Freak. We can't handle much more of your genius. What? You thought I was being sarcastic? This is the best gym challenge by far. Everyone has a clue, so you have to go through the Mystery Doo Scooby-Doo Incorporated, and you have to beat up every other team to get their clue, then order a secret menu item. Eventually, I caused enough damage to order the right dish, and holy shit, where'd all the people go? They didn't even have an animation for them, they just disappeared. What, did they say Tiananmen Square?
We'll return after these messages.
The gym leader is your local Wells Fargo employee trying to tell you why, yes, 30% interest on a 500k loan is an incredible steal. Who uses normal types? And yeah, I did sweep his team with my 2 fighting types. How could you tell? I finally get taken off the registry and registered as an olive. Black olives? Nah. I want to be put back on the registry. After thoroughly dominating him, he takes me out for dinner.
These donuts are great. Jelly-filled are my favorite.
The next battle is against the Ghost-type gym leader with Dr. Brown here for some reason. Morty's about to bang his mother, go stop him. This is the only double battle gym, and my gym challenge is literally beating 3 people in a double battle. After letting her spit bars, I go heal up my Pokemon and come back to see her telling a little kid his dad's never coming back, sending him home crying. After challenging her to a rap battle...
Came in here, huh? Woo! He's spitting.
Well, we got Mute Spit over here dropping bars. My Air Force Ones start honing his claws there as I paralyze everybody else and one-shot them with Power Trip. I might not be the best rapper, but it might be time for her to drop the mic or the sanctioned dogfighting. He can't be good at both. As I'm fighting the dripped-up Donphan, I notice, holy shit, Elvis can twerk. Few Aqua Steps and Donphan goes down, and now there's only one more mystical herb to acquire. Mrs. TCLR also calls me to let me know that I'm almost there and my Pokemon can fly now, which is pretty dope. I get to the Psychic Gym Leader, and Nimona isn't even gonna act like she doesn't know what I had for breakfast last week and asks me for another battle. I wipe her. The Joker's sidekick was pretty cool, but aside from that, really the easiest thing I've had to do this game. The next challenge is a tryout for the next Footloose movie with the local YMCA team in. Ay caramba! I give this gym challenge my all with dance moves so smooth you would have thought I was Elvis. And I even have to fight a little girl in between. You know I had to Jordan pull this shit.
Go in, you win.
After making a child cry, I pass the gym test and get ready to fight the next leader. I don't even know why we have to battle. I already used enough moves to KO our entire team. Started out with Reharding. Our first Pokemon is Elon's giraffe test subject used to determine the suitability for life on Mars. And why yes, my crack addict does now have Swords Dance.
I think we all know where this is going. Go in, you win.
She had to stop my 3-point barrage with the Terastallization, going all out with her last Pokemon, flipping the table. She gives me a picture that'll be all crusty in a few days and gives me the TM Psychic. In return, she asks me not to add her nudes to the Fappening collection, to which I oblige. As I'm getting ready to leave flat, Stanley shows up with a little girl who's part of the Elite Four. What kind of region is this? You have a 4-year-old as one of your 4 best Nah, Oak would never allow this to happen. He'd go acquire the 8 gym badges and join the Elite Four himself before allowing a toddler to... The last gym battle's an ice-type leader, and considering I have 0 ice on, one might even argue negative ice considering this bent sombrero has me looking like I'm about to give my entire West Coast to the United States. They can't let me pass until I prove I can handle the ice by beating their obstacle course that's built like it's the Weenie Hut Juniors of skiing hills. The 8th gym badge is a monster. Not even joking, he starts off acting like a dick. You better not get in my way. I'm on demon time. I'm listening to King Von right now. Yeah, sure. Until he whipped my team so badly I had to get Abe Lincoln to free my Pokemon for me. Poppy is lucky this couch potato doesn't want to join the Elite Four, else he'd clean sweep her ass back to playing blocks in kindergarten. Second time around is a lot easier, as 2 Lava Plumes finishes off Grisha and gives me the 8th gym badge. I have 2 team stars and 1 mystical herb I have to catch, so let's speed run the end of part 1 of my adventure. A Twink is first up, and after fending off all the neo-Nazis weirdly into femboys for some reason, his fairy types are no match for Corva Goat. I also find out I pull an inflatable platform out my butthole when my Elden Lord or Olive Tree battle on water. I find a tiny fish who turns into your mother, and after calling him fat so enough times he runs away crying. I find them though, and no Magikarp, get out of the way! Me and Arvin tag teamed the Whiscash from Wish, only to find Plankton was controlling this giant from underneath, and so we dispose of him too before getting the last herb, and after one last pleasure session we get the Mabo Stiffy to stand up for the first time in years. Professor calls us and hears Arvin steaming in the back and asks him to open the lab since he has the only key. Holy, those mommy issues are on a completely different level. Haven't heard her voice in years? But is she dead? After prepping for my next job at the World Trade Center, I get to the last Team Star base, who is a fighting type leader. The Joker comes out ready to tell me about society and sends out Toxicroak, but Anchor Arms digs a hole into the ground before popping up to tickle his butthole, landing a crit in the process, and after that she sends in a baboon fondling a melon. After that she sends in the lead singer of Big Time Rush, who obliterates everything until I take him out with Corva Goat. Finally she sends in a carb before it's a brave bird, and after running through the Twin Towers she gives me the close combat TM before telling me to look away before I stare on to assert my dominance. Next up is the Elite Four and Champion battle. On my way I find a little kid who's also looking to challenge the Elite Four, so I'm expecting nothing but the beefiest, most subscriber-worthy pocket monster. In any case, it's time for my champion assessment. There's a written portion first. Alright, I guess I can do that. He asks me a series of questions like, what are you doing here? How long have you been battling? Are you 21 with 40 years of experience? The sort of questions on every job interview. He asks me which of the 8 badges gives me the most difficulty, and I saw, I don't know, this one? What was the name of the leader?
What?
What in the name of all things Unga Bungy Dummy Thick does this have to do with being a champion? I came here to catch bodies, not voice act on Sesame Street. After failing the first time, I realized I have to actually go in with the winning mentality. I can't go in there half-assed rubber, halfway rolled up. I need that sick setup hardened, followed by bone meringue before I can use milk drink. How did you get here? Optimus Prime gave me a lift. What brings you to the Pokemon League? Views on YouTube. What do you want to do after becoming champion? Browse Rule 34 of the Psychics gym leader and her friend. Which gym was the most difficult? The ice one. And what was his name? Hold on, let me Google it. Grusha. Good job, kiddo. Flat Stanley's also our first Elite Four. You're telling me you lost that to a 4-year-old? I suck Wishcash dry and she sends in a camel from Saudi Arabia. I send in Elvis, whose twerking skills take out Camerupt, but not before breathing melatonin into the air, forcing me to switch into Pitted is Better to set up Leech Seed, and putting on my Air Force Ones, sharpening them, and preparing my accuracy for the drive-by of Rika's hood. She sends out a shit stain as her last Pokemon and puts him in his favorite Earth skin before getting popped by Air Force One Steel Wing. Yeah, I didn't lose anybody. She was about as effective as that shit stain she sent out last. Next up is Poppy, who I might add is a literal 5-year-old. After considering a quick call to CPS to get through her faster, I figure it's been a while since I bullied kids and she sends out some sort of new age hand job contraption. I paralyze the elephant before his jerking skills puts Anchor Arms into the refractory period at lightning speed. This is when I realized I couldn't take it easy on a 5-year-old, so I challenge her to 1v1 Mortal Kombat. I'm the next Pokemon, bitch, square up. I get a Leech Seed and reflect off, send in Ice Spice and let the workups begin. A quick low kick and titty shake later and I've tied up the scoreboard. One Combine later and I'm ripping through her team with Flamethrower. I bring in Elvis, True Astralize to take out Bronzong with Aqua Step, and after going on to Magnezone, Crackhead has consumed enough drugs to be useful, wiping out Zeus's Cyclops. After she cracks my Crackhead's skull, revealing all the illicit substances, I quickly need to distract everyone to forget about the doping allegations, and my little mouse finishes this battle with close combat. I Fortnite dance over the crying 5-year-old, and before I get the chance to throw her into the adoption center, Larry? His boss is overworking him. Why the hell Larry taking double shifts as a gym leader and Elite Four member? Doesn't surprise me. Manpower must be short since the pandemic caused you to have a literal child as the 4th strongest trainer. Larry uses flying types here, and I take out Tropius with Elden Lord. Anchor Arms takes care of Star Raptor, and my goat crackhead starts sword dancing until he starts seeing red. After that Altaria hit, he takes out the fluffy bird, the cheerleader who showed up to the wrong arena, and he gets his suit messed up for nothing as crackhead takes out his flamingo. It's time for the last Elite Four member, and after Larry gets bitched by Reek and Clown for it, come on guys, he's been working double shifts, cut him some slack. It's time to take on Hassel's dragons. I'd love to show the content, and I will, but trigger warning, you're about to see domestic abuse. I set up 2 comm mines with the Chaos Lord, and it was just over after that. I brought out the brooms and swept 3 straight Pokemon like it was nothing. Had this guy recontemplate his life choices. He had to terrestrialize just to stop the Elden Lord, and even then, I just paralyzed him into Ice Spinner from Elvis to seal the deal. Says something about the quality when a 5-year-old pushed me the hardest. In any case, it's champion time. She gives me the "I'm incapable of holding back," sounding like someone on Incel.com talking about how nice a guy he is. It's gonna be interesting to see which of her 250 Pokemon she chooses from her multi-ecosystem, and first off is some sort of pinata emu. Also, the final battle music is just... I burn her with Will-O-Wisp and then bring in Olive, who did a Leech Seed Grassy Terrain combo at the cost of 90% of her health, forcing me to bring in Corviknight, who gets... Are you mocking me? It's time to go off, hone those claws. That's an interesting ability. It's time to bring in the Crack God. After getting smashed for 90% of my health, I get the Crack boost and I'm able to X-Scissor burn her down. I swear to God, that was a performance worthy of Australian military. One emu wiped out half my squadron. She sends out an Ice Cube. Must have hustled to find that 6 Pokemon, huh? Whose defenses must be made of iron. Gazeka ends up out-cracking the crackhead, forcing me to bring in Anchor Arms for a close combat. She brings in a goat who's got a Christmas wreath stuck on its neck, and I Volt Switch to the Elden Lord. 2 comm mines and it's feeding time. One shot the goat with Flamethrower, one shot the Weeaboo wannabe with Flamethrower, and I say screw it. Even against the water type, I terrestrialize and use Flamethrower twice to wipe out Velusa, and my Chaos Lord is spitting heat. Mute Spitta might canonically have the best bars in Spain, but nothing can stand up to Super Hot Fire. She takes out the Chaos Lord with her flower before I send in Miley Cyrus. The twerking technique is too much for her Sunflower, though. It's 2 Aqua Steps later and I'm a champion. You better let those A-cups shake, Elvis. I get congratulated by my previous victims until I get to Nimona, who asks if I won, and no, I didn't win. And I keep repeating that dialogue until the dialogue chain ends. Before the final battle with her, though, I have to meet with Arvin, and we break into his mom's lab where we find her hologram, where she asks us to prepare an expedition to the center of the earth. After changing my sword and underwear, it's time to battle Arvin. Really cool battle where all the Pokemon he used in the Titan fights is used against me. I still sweep him though, it really wasn't too difficult. In fact, I'm fairly certain Mambo Stiffy's back to his pre-herb crippled state. I wanted to fight the Team Star leader, but apparently I can't until I beat Nimona, who's about 4 to 8 levels higher than my team, so it should be a fair fight. We get the entire hood to show up to our fight of champions to see who's the biggest daddy of big daddies. I start off with the Crack Lord, who's looking as dazed as usual. After activating my Crack Shell, I smash her Doug. Yeah, sure. You taught me those tight matchups. We're reaching cope levels unheard of. Smash her Anchor Arms afterwards and would have beat her Earthworm if I knew her ability countered mine. That's fine, I'll throw for some content. And unleash the payloads, wiping out 3 of her mons until she brings in her Crocagator, who takes out 3 of my own Pokemon, and I'm starting to lose my composure. Balls are sweaty, knees weak, arms spaghetti, until I bring in Megan the Stallion, who twerks her way through to the one-shot. After thrashing her, she looks like she's about to look... Uh-oh. Now it's time to finish off Team Star. It's Cassiopeia. Apparently Clive, who turns out to be my stepfather all along with that Superman-level disguise, ends up being Cassie. Fuck out of here, I slaughter his underleveled team, and what do you know? The cat did turn out to be furry bait. He tells me this is just a test to make sure the real Cassiopeia didn't bend me into an obtuse angle. That since I spanked him in his Spidey suit, he'll let me be the one to finish her off. After that, he gets reported for getting barebacked by a student. Had it coming after he tried to give me a new brother. Future is now, old man. Finally, the moment of truth. Turns out Cassiopeia was Penny? Who would have thought? She's also Team Star's leader, which is why I have to fight her to finish off Team Star, who she wanted dismantled for some reason. Listen, this is all very confusing, but at the end of the day, her team is filled with evolutions. My crackhead Chaos Lord combo is still undefeated, and I turn her star into a supernova with my black hole capability. She might identify as they, them, but I'm the one who ended up causing some mayhem. And you know, everyone says Penny is a trans character in Pokemon, and even though I thought she was a brother until about halfway through the game, she was identified as she the entire time, so I feel like that's coped by the player base. Like I was saying, congrats to the first trans Pokemon character. After that, Team Star was peeping the whole time and wanted to congratulate their glorious leader for being the easiest Team Star out comparatively. After beating all 3 main storylines, there is one quest remaining. It's time to bang Arven's mother, giving her that wood hammer lick sticky web combo. I team up with Arven, Nimona, and Petty to do it, which sends us to Area 0, where my ride gets hijacked by the others and I get bullied into being the skydiving rider on this vehicle, before we get to a beautiful, lush, gorgeous 15 FPS adventure. This last bit is pretty much us going through 4 research stations and unlocking them to fight the evil within. In between, there are some ancient monsters from the prehistoric era like 80s Jigglypuff and Dripvan, until we unlock all 4 research stations and make our way through to the Crystal Cave. In the Crystal Station, we have to unlock a door and some really strong Pokemon are going to come out. Now, the others did get thrashed by my team, so they are kind of worried and ask me to bring out Koraidon to help, who isn't in battle form. It's a plot to bring him out because after I open the door, a giant Giga Chad TCLR subscribed Koraidon comes through and was about to get charged with domestic violence before he goes inside the research station, foiling his drunken rampage. Nimona, you cannot be that stupid. We end up fighting the 50 or so Pokemon coming out of the cave until I see an opening to move in and find out where all these dangerous beasts are coming from. And there's the professor all tied up and waiting for me. She's a robot. This sucks balls. Not mine, of course, considering the circumstances, but the real professor passed away during an accident with the time machine, which is where all the Pokemon are coming from, and uploaded all her memories into a robot version of her, masterfully baiting me into doing all her dirty work for no reward at all. But humanity is still at risk, and so I have to go shut down the time machine with the Scarlet book. Problem is, the second I do that, the robot will turn into the Terminator, and so I'll have to beat her in a battle before I can defeat the time machine. This is a tough battle that could have gone either way, with her prehistoric Pokemon trading minds blow for blow. It's about whose Pokemon's got the greatest control of their anal sphincters and could hold out the longest in this battle to the death. Finally, it's one-on-one, my crackhead against her pterodactyl mince, or whatever this giant bird's supposed to be. One Dragon Claw unleashes the full crack-filled rampage, and a Rock Slide leech Suckle Seed later, and I've won the first round. The rest of the gang comes in after I've done all the dirty work, and the machine actually turns into an evil Terminator, and even locks up my Pokeballs, which I would have assumed to be in play when I saw the professor tied up before, but not like this. She sends out her Koraidon, and as I spend 20 minutes fiddling with the game, I realize I have to send out my own Koraidon, and with the power of the subscribe button, he summons into his own version of Giga Chad with a massive schlong to boot. This one-on-one is literally unlosable, even had the friendship mechanics save me from Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, and one Terra Blast Terastallized combo later, my dog proves superior. And with a heartwarming goodbye to Arven, the time machine is destroyed, and that's the end of the entire game, cause you got me fucked up. If you think I'm turning this video into an hour-long post-game adventure, pretty fun game all around. I know there are issues with slideshow graphics, all the bugs, like you would have thought an ant colony was harboring your gaming console with all these bugs. But it's the first open world main series Pokemon game, and I thought the gameplay was pretty fun overall. We'll eventually patch everything. They even released 1.10. Anyways, we'll have Walking Dead 2 on crack coming out next week, and I'll see you all next time.